Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Nikita Desai. I'm the Director for Policy and Corporate Programs at the Korea Society, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to today's corporate luncheon, U.S., Korea, and Cross-Investment Opportunities, with our Chief Speaker, Chairman Park Jong Soo of the Korea Financial Investment Association, KOFIA. Thank you for being here. I'd like to also thank KOFIA and the International Council of Securities Association to help put this event together, But now I'd like to specifically welcome Tim Cameron, who is the Managing Director and Head of SIFMA's Asset Management Group, to come here and introduce our Chief Speaker, Chairman Park Jong Soo. So please give a warm welcome to Tim Cameron. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and welcome. As Nikita indicated, my name is Tim Cameron, and I head up the Asset Management Group at SIFMA. Now, it is truly my pleasure to join you this afternoon as we examine the vital investment relationship between the United States and Korea. There's no question that today's financial marketplace is a global one. Organizations in both our countries rely on this global opportunity to raise capital, to achieve financial goals, and spur economic growth that creates jobs. I'd like to thank the Korea Society for organizing this important event and for giving me the honor of introducing today's speaker, Chairman Park Jong Soo of the Korea Financial Investment Association and International Council of Securities Association, better known as KOFIA. I know we all look forward to his insight on the opportunities and regulatory challenges of the U.S.-Korea relationship. Prior to becoming chairman of KOFIA, Mr. Park was vice chairman of the Korea Securities Dealers Association, KOFIA's predecessor. In his role as chairman, Mr. Park advocates views of market participants to financial policymakers and works in cooperation with the industry to devise advanced policies that reflect their opinions. Before joining KOFIA, Mr. Park was independent director at Meritz Securities. He has also served as CEO at a number of financial organizations such as Daewoo Securities, Wari Investments and Securities, and Daewoo Futures. He was also president of Daewoo Bank in Hungary from 1990 to 1998. Mr. Park earned his BA degree at Seoul National University, where he majored in commerce and trade studies. His graduate degree in management were earned at Yonsei University. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Chairman Park.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As introduced, I'm Jong Soo Park, Chairman of the Korea Financial Investment Association. It gives me great honor and pleasure to be here with the Korea Society, and moreover, to have a chance to speak about the vision for Korea's capital market and the mutual investment opportunities between Korea and the U.S. Before I begin, I'd like to first thank Chairman Thomas Herbert of the Korea Society and his team for arranging this event. I would also like to extend my gratitude to all of the other distinguished guests for sharing this moment with us and also for their interest in Korean capital market. It is well known that for over half a century, the Korea Society has played a key role in building friendly relations between Korea and the U.S. The Korea Financial Investment Association is very proud to have been a sponsor for the Korea Society for more than a decade now. I believe that we have accomplished over the past 10 years is only the beginning of what we can achieve together by continuing to collaborate and forging even closer ties. Today, I want to tell you a brief history of the Korean capital market and update you on its current status and to share my views on where the industry is heading as well as what we can envision for it. Then I will touch upon the current relationship between Korea and the U.S. in the financial sector and what we can do to further enhance it. First of all, I'd like to give you a brief overview of my organization, the Korea Financial Investment Association in KOFIA. KOFIA is a trade association that serves as an advocate for its membership base, which consists of 165 companies from the securities, asset management, and the future industries. It is also the main self-regulatory organization for Korean financial investment industry, whose main tasks are to protect investors and maintain sound business practices. In a sense, our organization performs the combined roles of two key U.S. financial associations, SHIFMA, the Securities Industry and the Financial Market Association, and FINLA, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authorities. Actually, we are celebrating this year as the 60th anniversary of the founding of KOFIA, taking into account the history of the Korea Security Dealers Association, its predecessor. While serving as the chairman of KOFIA, I have also taken up the role of chairman of the International Council of Securities Associations, ICSA. As a gathering of 20 industry associations from 18 countries around the world, ICSA works to aid and encourage the sound growth of the international capital market and represent a common voice for global security industry. Distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, several weeks ago, the Goldman Sachs released a market outlook report on the Asia-Pacific region and said Korea would be one of only two countries in the region with an overweight rating along with Singapore. In the report, Timothy Moore, the firm's chief Asia-Pacific equity strategist, said that Korea is the country with the highest potential to benefit from a U.S.-led global economic recovery, given the high trade volume with the U.S. As the report shows, the Korean capital market has developed by leaps and bounds over the past 60 years. Since the establishment of the Korea Security Dealers Association in 1953, Korea's capital market has witnessed exponential growth thanks to the stable growth of the real economy, improved regulations, and the support from the government. But it is worthwhile to note that the market has grown not just externally. After undergoing two grave crises, the 1997 Asian financial crisis and the 2008 global financial crisis, the market has developed sound fundamentals as well. Illustrating this shift in the status of the Korean stock market is the fact that it joined the FTSE Developed Market Index in 2008. The following year, in 2009, the Financial Investment Services and the Capital Market Act was enacted to further promote the innovation and the sound growth of our industry. And more recently, this April, the Act was revised to introduce CCPs for OTC transactions, prime brokerage services for IB businesses, and the alternative trading system to improve the market infrastructure. These measures show the effort being made by the Korean government to meet the global standard set out by international regulatory bodies such as ISCO and the G20. Based on this development at present, Korea's stock market is ranked as the world's 10th largest market in terms of total capitalization and the trading volume as of August 2013. And although concerns have grown recently across global market over fears of U.S. Federal Reserve's QE tapering, Korea continues to report current account surpluses based on its robust economic fundamentals, which helps its stock market maintain its upward momentum. So it would appear that the Korea capital market is exhibiting excellent performance. But what about the members? Have they grown in line with the market? Are they profitable? Unfortunately, this is not always true, as the Korean capital market players are being lagging behind the overall capital market in terms of the pace of growth, despite being a major player in the market. Major factor that impedes the growth of these players is the industry-wide business model that is centered on brokerage revenues. This is why the Korean firms have lacked the capabilities and expertise to profitably operate investment banking and asset management services compared with the global investment banks. But now that prime brokerage services are finally being allowed to stimulate IB business activities, we hope to see a better profit model for industry players. Luckily, other measures are also being considered to boost the industry. This May, the Korean government announced its 10-10 value plan, which aims at elevating the proportional value created by financial services to 10% of the total Korean economy in the next 10 years. This plan is not simply a numeric target selected for the pursuit of a superficial expansion of the financial industry. Rather, it manifests the current administration vision for developing the creative economy by solidifying the fundamentals of Korea's financial industry and turning it into a new economic driver with high value while reinforcing its support for real economy through creative finance. With this support from the government, I'm confident that the industry has potential to create a greater value based on unique dynamics. I'd like to now go into more detail about my vision for our industry, which can be broken down into three major stages. The first stage of my vision is encouraging the market to become a next-generation growth engine. After decades of rapid growth, our Korean economy has entered into a mature, slow growth phase. We are at a critical juncture and need to seek out opportunities for value creation to overcome this hurdle. As I mentioned earlier, under a current business structure, roughly half of all revenue comes from brokerage activities. Therefore, it is crucial that reforms are made to this business structure so that high value-added services, including investment banking and asset management, can be cultivated. In addition, market participants will need to create a variety of financial products designed for small and medium-sized enterprises, as well as venture startup companies with a high growth potential, so that they may grow and support the real economy. But at the same time, we have to take into consideration how important it is that these innovations come with the appropriate level of investor protection. The second stage of my vision for our industry is turning it into an Asian financial powerhouse. Based on the current financial climate, there is no doubt that Asia will be the main driving force for global economic growth. According to a World Bank report published in 2011, the combined real output of 6 major emerging economies, the BRICS, which consist of Brazil, the Russian Federation, India, Indonesia, China, and Korea, will match that of the EU by 2025. There is a saying, in unity, there is strength. That holds true here in case of Asia, which has 4 representatives in the BRICS group and is poised to play an increasing larger role in the global financial industry going forward. Asian countries are putting many joint initiatives into place at the moment. One ongoing initiative right now is the Asian Region Fund Passport, which is intended to stimulate the cross-border distribution of funds by promoting mutual recognition within the region. And there is also the Asian Bond Market Forum, comprised of bond market experts from the Asian Plus 3 region, 3 being China, Japan, and Korea, was established as a common platform to foster the standardization of our market practices and the harmonization of regulations relating to cross-border bond transactions in the region. Korea is actively participating in these initiatives as we believe that regional development is just as important as Korea's own development. The success of these initiatives would also mean a much larger market for Korea. As such, COFIA is hosting the China-Japan-Korea Capital Market Development Forum this November as part of the commemorating the COFIA 60th anniversary. We believe this is another good example of a collaboration among Asian countries to solidify this trilateral cooperation, which represent an opportunity to network with each other. We'll also continue to work closely with other major counterparts in Asian countries to carry these initiatives forward, as they presented enormous opportunity to make the leap forward and they become a financial powerhouse in the region. Now, I'd like to go over the last stage of my vision, and which is to provide a secure investment destination for the public. Considering how rapidly the Korea's population is aging, the management of retirement savings has recently surfaced as an important social issue. The proportion of the population that is 65 years of age or older is expected to hit 14% in 2014, making the country what is called an aged society. This demographic trend threatens to pose a serious problem for citizens who are planning for their retirement, as well as for the nation as a whole, since the welfare cost will be immense. I have to point out, however, that the only retirement pension plan we currently allow is the contractual plan. I believe it is now time for Korea to allow the fund-type pension plan like those offered in the developed nations such as OECD member countries. Contractual plans can be vulnerable when it comes to the governance of the managing account. If fund-type plans are allowed, we can create a virtuous circle with our capital market by increasing both the size of the market and the asset value of the workers. In addition, persistently low interest rates making it inefficient for Koreans to manage their asset through bank deposit as was done in the past. As such, demand will grow for higher yields and for investment products like mutual funds, which will in turn lead to the growth of the Korean asset management market. To cope with the changing landscape, our members will need to provide a broader range of products and services that can meet customers' more diversified needs. Distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, Korea and the U.S. have come a long way in forging closer economic ties, as I would like to illustrate through some concrete figures. Investment volume between Korea and the U.S. is measured to be at a much higher level compared with the other markets, even in the area of financial investment instruments, including equities, bonds, and derivatives. Koreans invested about $162 billion in the U.S. financial market, which accounts for 31.1% of overseas financial investments in Korea. Likewise, Americans invested about $210 billion in Korean financial investment instruments. Along these lines, a highly active bilateral exchange is seen in the financial services sector as well as in the real economy. But at the same time, we still have sufficient room for further development. Recently, COFIA launched the Korea-Australia-Japan Joint Investment Forum. This forum serves as a key channel for our three countries to further enhance the links between capital market in the Asian Pacific region and to increase the levels of joint investment among these countries in emerging markets. Now, I'd like to propose the same to U.S. market players. Emerging market in Asia possesses abundant investment opportunities. As Korea and the other emerging markets in Asia share a common historical and cultural background, by combining Korea's favorable relationship with emerging markets in Asia with the expertise, advanced technology of the U.S., I believe that joint investment would be a successful venture. Let me share with you some of the other valuable opportunities that lies in the future for Korea's capital market, which may also be of great interest to you. The retirement asset management market in Korea, as I mentioned before, is expected to expand rapidly as a consequence of a low interest rate and an aging population. As of the end of 2012, Korea's private pension fund, including retirement and personal pension plans, totaled $146 billion. The estimated value for these funds in 2020 is about $420 billion, a whopping threefold increase. If we add this number with the estimated value of the National Pension Fund, which is $924 billion, the Korean pension market will easily surpass $1.3 trillion. Another promising area is hedge funds. The Korean hedge funds were first introduced in the market in 2011. In a display of rapid growth, there are now 26 hedge funds with a total AUM of $1.5 billion in the Korean market. With this rate of growth and the relaxation in the relevant regulations, I believe that U.S. firms, with their extensive experience and expertise in the field, can find great opportunities in our market. Ladies and gentlemen, Korea has already created something from nothing in its manufacturing sector, also known as the miracle of the Han River. Such achievement could not have been possible without diligence, expertise, and the working ethic of Korean people. I strongly believe that our financial sector has the potential to achieve such a success as well. The current conditions are far more favorable than those present during the period of the success for Korea's manufacturing sector. Many financial specialists have recently come to Korea, attracted by the opportunities in the market offers. The Korean capital market very much needs the insightful advice and the active participation of professionals like you. To bring us one step closer to this, with me today is a delegation consisting of influential members of Korea's asset management industry. It is my hope that they are able to share their insight and experiences and hear your valuable thought in return. I'd like to emphasize once more the shared commitment to our industry to achieving our goals for the future. Once again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here today. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman Park. We'll now open to question and answers. So if you just raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you.
Chairman Park, thank you for your comments. My name is Tony Mace. I work for Market News International. You mentioned the growth of the hedge fund industry since 2011. What are the regulatory changes that need to occur that you would wish for to see that kind of growth continue going forward? I mean, what are the steps to liberalize the market that would encourage the growth of that industry and related businesses?
마켓 뉴스 인터내셔널의 토니 메이스라고 합니다. 지금 그 연설하시는 과정에서 헤지펀드 업계의 성장, 2011년 이후에 급속한 성장에 대해서 언급을 하셨는데요. 앞으로도 이렇게 지속적인 성장을 하기 위해서 어떤 규제 부분에 있어서 어떤 변화가 일어나야 된다고 생각을 하십니까? 그리고 더 추가적으로 또 시장 그 규제 완화를 위해서 어떤 움직임이 있어야 된다고 생각하시는지요?
제가 이제 스피치하는 과정에서도 말씀드렸습니다만 정부가 10-10 밸류 플랜이라는 걸 하면서 규제를 대폭 완화할 계획을 가지고 있습니다. 아마 이달 말 아니면 내달 초 정도에 정부에서 발표할 계획으로 있는데 그중에 이제 사모펀드에 대한 대폭 규제 완화가 포함되어 있을 거로 생각이 됩니다. 그래서 이제 특히 이제 헤지펀드 부분에 대해서는 그동안 허용된 것이 롱숏 펀드에 대해서만 롱숏 전략에 대해서만 정부가 허용을 했었는데 앞으로는 투자 대상에 대한 확대, 그다음에 투자 기법에 롱숏 이외에 투자 기법에 대한 다양한 그 스트래티직 이제 전략이 앞으로 많이 활용될 수 있는 기회가 부여될 것으로 봐서 이 부분에 대한 앞으로의 전망은 굉장히 밝다고 이렇게 볼 수 있겠습니다.
As I mentioned during my speech, the Korean government is planning a drastic deregulation measures that are part of the 10-10 value up 10-year plan. So at the end of this month or early next month, the Korean government is scheduled to announce relevant measures regarding the private equity fund investment. And mostly so far, the hedge fund industry has been focusing on the long short strategies. But in the future, the scope of the investment will expand, and also a variety of investment strategies other than long short strategies will be implemented. So this presents a lot of opportunities for the future hedge fund players. So there is a very bright future in this aspect.
I'd like to jointly thank Chairman Park Jong Soo again. Please, everyone, give a warm round of applause.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
In addition to COFIA, in addition to Chairman Park, we have a great delegation here of CEOs of various asset management companies. And I'd like to briefly introduce them, and I just ask them if they would just stand up. From Capstone Asset Management, CEO Mr. Han. From Eugene Asset Management, CEO Mr. Cho. From Ethan Guide, CEO Mr. Kim. From High Asset Management, CEO Mr. Ri. From Hyundai Investments, CEO Mr. Kim. From LS Asset Management, CEO Mr. Lee. From Plus Asset Management, CEO Mr. Park. And from Yuri Asset Management, CEO Mr. Kim. So as you can see, we have ample opportunities for networking after this session. In closing, I'd like to just thank again the staff of COFIA, Chairman Park for coming, for making this program an excellent opportunity to learn. And I'd like you to welcome back on October 31st, when we have a great program from Silicon Valley to Songdo, Studies in U.S.-Korea Innovation, with Managing Director at Cisco, Cliff Thomas, and Executive Vice President of Gale International, Tom Murcott. So I hope that you welcome back. Please pick up a brochure. If you're not a member, please join us at the Korea Society. And you could also see future programs at our website, koreasociety.org. Thank you very much.